We have Maria Jose Rodriguez, Ecuadorian mining lawyer, ESG consultant, and co-leader of the IDWIM organizing committee. She will moderate an engaging panel, and the following discussion features prominent mining leaders joining us today from Saudi Arabia, from the USA, Brazil, and Chile. So please welcome Rana Abdullah, President of WIM Saudi Arabia and Editor-in-Chief of Ardhona Journal, Geology and Mining at Saudi Geological Survey. Andrea Vaccari, Vice President of Responsible Production Frameworks and Sustainability at Freeport-McMoRan. Kilma Cunha, Director of Operations at Vale Base Metals. Douglas Aitken, Executive Director of the University of Queensland Sustainable Minerals Institute, International Center of Excellence in Chile. And now I hand it over to Maria Jose.
Thank you, Anna. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. I am Maria Jose Rodriguez, and I will have the honor of moderating our second roundtable, Moving Beyond Traditional DEI. As we celebrate today the International Day of Women in Mining in recognition of the merits and deliberate actions that have improved working conditions, retention, and growth of women in this industry, we understand and acknowledge that there is still work ahead. DEI initiatives in mining are not just about improving representation, but also about creating an inclusive culture and breaking down systematic barriers. It involves a strategy, commitment, and ongoing practice. But how can we ensure that DEI remains or even becomes a priority strategy at both corporate and operational levels? Today, we brought together an exceptional group of experts from their leadership positions and remarkable experience. They will share how we can move past traditional discourse to successfully driving tangible and measurable outcomes. I would like to acknowledge the leadership and remarkable launch nonprofit organization focuses on developing advanced skills among Saudi women, preparing them to meet the evolving needs of the women of the mining industry in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. So my first question, Rana, would be, as the first president of Women in Mining Saudi Arabia, what personal motivations or experiences lead you to take on this leadership role?
Sorry, Maria Jose, Rana is not here, so just go to the other question, please.
Thank you so much. I thought she was just behind the scenes. But anyway, we'll go then for Andrea, now that we cannot find. Let's see if Rana can connect in the next few minutes. So nowadays, Andrea, it is clear that we face a landscape shaped by motivation and technology. Under this scenario, mining companies are thriving to embed and adjust their DEI strategy into an innovative sustainability approach. Recognize that an inclusive and diverse workforce is crucial for operational long-term success. Andrea, in your role as Vice President of Responsible Production Frameworks and Sustainability at Freeport-McMoRan, how do you envision the mine of the future and its pipeline of female talent development?
Well, first, I just want to say muchas gracias and thank you to Maria Jose, to Barbara, to Ana Fernandez, and to Audrey for inviting me to speak today. This is such an amazing event. It's so inspiring. It was, 5:30 a.m. when I logged on here today, and what better way to start my day with this super inspiring group of women and men. So thank you. First, I think, we have this huge opportunity in front of us with innovation and really how to change the way we mine. And that opportunity also gives us a chance to change the faces of mining. It's a great opportunity. We have new roles that are coming about, big data, science, research and development, really a ton of these fields in which women have traditionally excelled. So that makes me really excited. But obviously we need to do a ton of work to build the pipeline, right? To continue bringing diverse faces and really encourage and support diversity. And so we have this amazing opportunity in front of us as well for existing technology and for getting those roles in the pipeline. What we've been working really hard on is middle school. We've been working really hard on internships from colleges And we've been working really hard on entrepreneurship. And I think we've heard about all of that today. We have a program called Dig Into Mining, which is a partnership that we did with Discovery here in the US, and is really all about enabling teachers to have the tools available to them in middle school without having to necessarily invest in the resources for it. And I think that's something that is just amazing. The faces portrayed there, and really, the roles there are very diverse. I also think that we just have this great opportunity through internships. The more we see people like us, the more we will believe that we fit in, and the more that we will continue to grow in the mining industry and grow in talent. And so I think, I've spent a ton of time partnering. We have this amazing program through our Human Resources Department on internship globally. And then really when we think about how do we also then lift up skill sets.
Sorry.
We missed you a little bit. Your microphone is not working, Andrea. We missed you for a bit. If you can just mute and unmute yourself again.
Is that better?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay.
And I actually wanted to jump on to the second question, now that you have explained the amazing work that you're doing with young generations, which is amazing. So I wanted to ask as well, there are multiple range of options to measure success in DEI strategies and implementation. So how do you consider that international frameworks and certification schemes can be useful tools for this, and why?
Yeah, global standards are incredibly important. They help us define what we believe is the level set, what we believe is the place we need to be at, but they also help us define where we need to go. So whether they inspire us or they help measure us and hold us to account at our operations globally, they're crucially important. As many of you know, we're working right now on the Consolidated Mining Standard Initiative, which is a great partnership program. There are other great standards like IRMA out there that really do a great job of defining what does it mean to encourage, diversity and to encourage inclusion in standards. And I think that's crucially important. We want a future where no one's left behind, but we also want a much more resilient and stronger industry, which we'll see when we include diverse faces, and standards can really help us drive that across the sector.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Andrea, for your words. I think it's amazing the work that you're doing, and we count on support to continue building an inclusive workplace experience. So now we have Rana. So we had this question for you, Rana, now talking about the international perspective of women's participation in this amazing industry. We say that you're the first president of Women in Mining Saudi Arabia. What personal motivations or experiences led you to take on this leadership position?
Hi, Maria, and thank you for this great event. I reconnect 5 times because, I'm in a forum with women in diplomacy to represent women in critical mining. And I'm so glad to have this invitation from International Women in Mining and Audrey and all there. Thank you so much for this moderating. Actually, my personal motivation are deeply rooted in a blend of professional experience and a passion of advocacy and strong belief in the transformation that happened today in our country in Saudi Arabia. And everyone in the world see how we are transformation very fast. And the latest, the mining in Saudi Arabia achieved that the fastest growth sector, especially after the last version of FMF, Future Mining Forum, which is so well known today as a discussion platform. And that's what I'm looking as a head or president, first president as women in mining. And it's not coming by coincidence. I was the president of the committee Women in Mining when we created, before we finish all the, it's the first time to do this in Saudi. So it took from us a time to prepare all the system or the government paper to create this organization. Now it's a baby. It's 2 weeks ago. It's officially announced. And I'm so proud of that. And directly, I get this invitation to represent women in diplomacy from mining sector in Saudi with my colleague from 15th sector in Saudi, transportation, women in culture, and etc. About my journey in the mining, it started once I became the head of communication, and it's also, I am a first woman who lead a communication or to be editor-in-chief of geology and mining content as in a government journal. So it was I was like face a situation. Should I be encouraged and have the enough brave to take this initiative and to try it while I have this scientific background in rock and water labs, or I should leave it as usual to be by my male colleagues. But today, I'm in the third year working in the third copy of Ardhona journal, Geology and Mining, the only government journal in geology and mining. And I don't believe, Maria, that time is running. And I found myself like working on the journal of Ardhona, then participating with Anna in Anna adventure at the mine. And then I found myself responsible to encourage more women in the sector. Then I lead this committee. Then I have to establish the association. And for 4 years, I was from the organizing team of FMF, and I tried my best with the full support from our leadership to engage more women. And yeah, for me, women in mining, it's not about only having more women. No, sustain them and to see them enjoy their work, feel equal in the payments, in the opportunity to upgrade, opportunity like what I have today. And for the good reason that today I'm here with the organization like we have in Saudi. I don't know if they're in out of Saudi, it's Women in Energy. So Women in Energy today in Saudi, hosting one of Women in Mining today, and Women in Engineering before 2 days celebrate us as a women in mining. And believe me, we are living the best days.
This is amazing, Rana. We truly wish you the best in your remarkable endeavors. I think that the commitment and transcendence embodied by pioneers like Rana and Andrea resonate deeply with the industry's ongoing journey to address DEI objectives. So please keep us updated on any news and how your baby keeps growing. So now we're going to move with Doug Aitken. He's the Executive Director of the University of Queensland Sustainable Minerals Institute International Center of Excellence in Chile. His core mission is to connect Australia with Chile and Latin America and to transfer research, knowledge, and technology. So, Doug, I want to ask you, so we know that Australia, Canada, and Chile are leading examples of highest female representation within the mining industry worldwide. From your experience in the academia, both in Chile and Australia, how do you see these two countries moving beyond the traditional DEI discourse?
Okay, thanks very much, Maria Jose, and thank you to International Women in Mining for the opportunity to be here and for everyone who's joining us. So Australia and Chile are both making very positive strides at the moment in terms of inclusion of women in the industry. Chile currently sitting around 21% and Australia is at 22%. A couple of weeks ago, I was in Codelco's Andina side, and it was amazing. Almost all of the people who were in the meetings that were in were women, which is, I've never experienced that before. And actually, it was almost the same last week when I was in Vale, one of Vale's sites in Brazil, seeing Kilma there. I wanted to mention that as well. So really fantastic to see these changes. But there's still so many challenges that remain. So I want to mention 5 areas that I think we need to focus on if we're going to move beyond the traditional DEI. These are areas that I've discussed with female colleagues and received their ideas. So also want to acknowledge that and thank all of them for their thoughts. So the first one is career progression and retention. So at least here in Chile, I think what we're still seeing is that most women entering into the industry are still quite concentrated in entry-level roles. So we need to ensure that we're making that shift from those sorts of positions into leadership roles. And that's not just about equity, but it's also about improving diverse leadership, which then leads on to benefits for other women and providing those role models that I think women who are coming into the industry need to have to create that sort of virtuous cycle. Training and capacity building as well. So we need to ensure that the women entering the workforce and also the women who are thinking about entering are given the necessary training, and also particularly in areas that are now emerging like digitalization and automation. And again, Codelco's got a really good example in Antofagasta where they've been working with schools in the region on leadership programs for young people, but particularly focused on diversity and inclusion. So it is possible. Culture change, and we've seen reports, particularly unfortunately, come out of Australia, where there's still issues of hostile environments, exclusionary environments as well, and also hearing from colleagues in Chile that remains an issue in some sites here. So we need to obviously address that. There needs to be really a priority and try and develop these cultures of respect, of safety, of inclusion. Otherwise, we're not going to retain the talent that we need. And we need to listen. We need to obviously engage with women who are coming into the industry and understand what the challenges they're facing are and do something about it. Engaging men as well. So I've heard, and probably many of you have also heard from men that they're feeling disadvantaged at the moment, and that's probably an issue with communicating what's happening. An issue between seeing men and women as opponents and not as partners, which we need to be, and having that space for an honest dialogue about the benefits of a more diverse and inclusive workplace that works for everyone. And then finally, DEI, it needs to be a strategy. It can't just be a side project that sits in HR, for example. It's a little bit like sustainability. I feel like the industry now, sustainability is more at the core of what mining does. DEI and inclusion, it needs to be right at the center of what we do. It needs to influence decision-making, investment, how we're operating, and leadership. So we really need to put focus on making that shift as well.
That is amazing, Doug. I think when you mention allyship, I come back to Audrey's panel about how we are together on this, and women and men have to be included in this conversation. So my second question, can you briefly explain what is the center doing to translate this into actionable and significant strategies and solutions?
So at SMI's Chile, we feel that we first need to get a deeper understanding of what's going on at the moment. What are the dynamics in terms of DEI in the industry, so we can really develop effective solutions and strategies with our partners. We've put together surveys previously across Latin America that helped us design a leadership training program last year. That helped us identify some common barriers that women are facing in the industry. But that was just really a start. So we need to go further than that now. So we're looking to build long-term industry partners to work together on investigating the internal dynamics in their organization, what's working, what's not working, what are the challenges that are emerging now, and then together we can design more tailored and effective strategies. So I mentioned a training program that we ran last year for women in mining in terms of leadership skills, sharing experiences, exploring how the women can develop their careers and work together within a peer network. So that was fantastic, and we've continued to have those conversations with the participants in that program. I've also been working on developing training programs with an industry partner in Chile on leadership for women in coastal communities in northern Chile, with the idea of strengthening local socio and economic development in regions with mining. So these are some important initiatives that we're doing. They're not enough. We need to do much more. So these sorts of training programs that we have, we need to start integrating them into a broader strategy as an industry, and also ensuring that we're having this cultural shift. So we have new policies coming through. We have better working conditions, as was mentioned in the first panel. We've got systemic support for career development of women, and we see that ongoing behaviour change. We're as a centre, we're committed to positive change. We're making progress, but we've got much more to do. So we're also looking for partners to collaborate with us in really embedding DEI into industry. So if anyone who's listening is interested in working with us in that, please feel free to contact us as well.
I see Andrea smiling, so maybe we'll have a connection there. So thank you so much, Doug. Now we are moving south to Brazil. We'll have Kilma, Director of Operations in Vale Base Metal. She has an outstanding story of professional and personal growth and leadership. Kilma will be speaking in Portuguese, so please remember to click on the world icon to select your preferred language. So Kilma, I wanted to ask you, do you consider that DEI is a core leadership responsibility embedded in your business culture and performance? So how would you describe your purpose-driven leadership?
Bom dia a todos e a todas. Maria, é um prazer, né, participar aqui com vocês no dia de hoje, num momento tão importante. Eu ouvindo aqui um pouco aqui da Rana, né, inspirador, trazer um pouco aí da história, né, da Arábia para a gente, aqui um pouquinho no Brasil. Eu falo com muito orgulho representando o Brasil, a Vale Metais Básicos aqui no Brasil, em especial no Pará, que é o norte do Brasil, bem próximo da floresta amazônica. Então, dá para trazer um pouquinho aqui de contexto que nós estamos em uma unidade operacional que traz aí um tom de área remota, né, que traz muito esse desafio voltado para o DEI. E dentro desse contexto, quando eu abordo o tema DEI, né, existe muito um trabalho muito forte relacionado à liderança, essa responsabilidade muito árdua da liderança em trazer isso como propósito, e dentro desse divisor, né, de dever de casa, um trabalho muito em paralelo com a cultura organizacional da empresa, muito focado no diálogo transparente, com muita humildade, né, porque nós sabemos dentro de um contexto que cada região tem seu tipo de especificidade, que requer com muito cuidado e humildade para aprender como que se constrói isso. E dentro desse trabalho, eu estou falando de uma área, Maria, Andrea, Doug, que tem indígenas, nós temos comunidades rurais, nós temos pessoas locais que requerem um cuidado, né, muito genuíno de como que a gente faz essa transformação. E isso é DEI, né? Isso é a gente trazer um pouquinho do que é o propósito e trazer um pouquinho do que seria essa nossa jornada. Eu comecei há mais ou menos 2 décadas, um pouquinho mais de 2 décadas atrás, como trainee em um programa de formação profissional, ainda como engenheira, né, júnior, e dentro dessa jornada, o propósito inicial foi muito voltado aí lá na exploração mineral, dentro de um início de uma mina, depois na transformação de uma mobilização de uma mina, e na sequência agora, né, respondendo por uma unidade operacional e trazendo mais e mais mulheres. Eu estou falando de uma unidade que hoje, Vale Metais Básicos em todo o Brasil, representa 26% de mulheres, 50% de negros, nós temos 18%, 19% de mulheres na liderança. Isso começou bem pequenininho há 3 anos atrás e é uma jornada, né? E estamos evoluindo. Ainda tem muito ainda para avançar. E vamos contar com vocês, porque vocês da Human Mining International vai nos ajudar a construir cada vez mais.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Kilma. I think that is a wonderful work that you're doing within your community, within your workspace. So we
Maria?
thank you to all the speakers. This has been amazing. After listening and lessons learned. Can you hear me well? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. So I would like to ask the audience to please respond to the following question. So we have a simple question. So this is moving beyond traditional DEI requires specific actions and deliverables. Which of the following actions do you consider the most impactful? 1, inclusive policies and practices. 2, training and education, breaking down stereotypes, unconscious bias, and fostering cultural competency. 3, tangible diversity in leadership and decision-making, 4, all of the above, or 5, if you have any ideas, please share on the chat. Can we see the answers from the poll? There we go. So most of you responded all of the above. So I totally agree. We need to work on inclusive policies, training and education, leadership and tangible diversity decision-making. So thank you so much. We're going to use these responses for future conversations that we
Go to Anna.
I do too as well. So thank you, all the positive for younger generations. So thank you so much. We continue with Anna.
Thank you.